Hey everyone, Ollie here. So before we get into this video, please make sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't already. I send it out once a month. I share sort of cool things, links to interesting things, and just any thoughts I've had over the last month. So make sure to check it out. So in this video, we'll be covering what I think are some of the easiest ways to build a website right now in 2022. So I've been building websites for over 10 years now, since I was a teenager pretty much, probably longer than 10 years actually if I think back. I like to think I know quite a bit about making websites, mainly because it's how I've primarily sort of made money over the last 10 years. I've made millions of dollars from making websites and all sorts of other stuff. If you guys are interested in that sort of stuff, please check out my other videos on my channel. I go through sort of how I make money and stuff. But anyway, I'm not doing that in this video. I want to cover my experience in making websites, going through why you should have a website, what platforms you should use, and even how to make money from a website. So my first way of making money was actually having my own blog. So I would have a blog where I would post sort of Android home screen setups. I would post any sort of new stuff related, gadget related stuff, and I would make money via advertising, icons, and sponsorships. And then I went into making websites for clients. So I started making websites for businesses and other clients and stuff, started making money that way. And then I got into making website templates such as Tumblr themes. And yeah, Tumblr themes have now made me nearly $700,000 in profit, which is just crazy. And then e-commerce as well. So I have ULX Store where we sell physical goods that we actually ship out to people. So yeah, those are just some of the ways, some of the experience that I have in making websites, running websites and stuff. I feel like that's a very short way of putting it because there's so much other stuff that I've done with making websites. And making a website 10 years ago was actually so much harder than it is today. I feel like today we have it so easy and it's only getting easier. So back then you had to mess around with things like servers, having to at least know some code to get things going. Troubleshooting was also a pain in the ass. If something went wrong, you just had to figure it out yourself. It's the same with bugs and stuff. You just had to figure it out. There just wasn't as much sort of support as there is nowadays. Yeah, it's just so much easier today, much cheaper as well, and there's even free services out there to have your own sort of personal websites. I think you'd be absolutely silly not to have a website now. Like, I think it's just silly not to have one. It's just so easy and so cheap, and yeah, I feel like it just makes a lot of sense. So there are quite a few reasons as to why you should build a website. Building a personal brand, that's what I actually use my website for, my personal website. Building a personal brand, having a sort of my own sort of corner of the internet, you could say, where I can share my work, share links to projects, share blog posts, have my portfolio. My personal website almost acts like a resume, like a CV, a place where basically I can just share what I think is interesting and what I hope other people will find interesting, especially because I feel like I try to go for a more sort of professional setting, you could say, when it comes to work and how I present myself online. So I feel like my personal website acts in that sort of way. I also like to blog on my personal website and I have my own sort of digital products. So I have things like wallpapers and ebooks and icons and stuff like that on my own personal website, and people can go in there and buy them. And because I'm building this brand, sort of regularly posting, sharing stuff online, it's building trust with audience, with people who subscribe to the channel, people who go to my personal website. And also it's a fantastic way for me to work with potential clients and businesses, and for other people just to get in touch with me. People who may just be interested in working with me, or maybe they have something they can share with me. Yeah, having a personal website has opened up so many different avenues for me. I feel like I can't put a value on it because it's just too high, having a personal website. It's insane. And one of the best things about having your own website is that no one can really take it away. You have much more control over it. It's not a platform like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms like that, social media platforms where you can have a profile. The biggest problem with those platforms is that you could wake up tomorrow and your profile is banned. It's just gone. It's disappeared. Could be for no reason, could be for something that you had no control over, or maybe they changed the algorithm, or maybe I don't know, it just could be anything. So yeah, having your own website, you just have so much more control. I think it just makes so much more sense. And it's why I like to drive people to my personal website. It's why at the beginning of this video I said to people, please subscribe to my newsletter, because again, having emails, having my own personal sort of brand, it's just so much more valuable than having to sort of rely on other platforms. What I like to do is I like to use other platforms to sort of grow my reach, and then I like to drive that reach into my personal website. I think the only time where a hosting provider, the sort of platform that's hosting your website, could take down your website is Of course, if you're doing something illegal or unethical, then yeah, that makes sense. They don't want to be associated with that sort of website or that platform. But you could even take it a step further. Maybe you are doing something illegal or unethical. You can host it on a server in your own home and share your website. But yeah, like you just have so much more control over having your own personal website. So let's get into website builders or website platforms or whatever you want to call them, because there are just so many different ways to make a website these days. I'm sure many of you have been bombarded with ads from Wix and Squarespace and all these other platforms on how you can build your own website. I have tried hundreds, I think, absolutely hundreds of different platforms, hundreds of different ways to make websites. And I just want to share some of the ways right now, which I think are the best. It always changes though. I'm hoping that these stay relevant for a few years. They should do. Before you actually choose any of these website builders, you've got to figure out what you want your website to do. So is it just going to be a personal website? Or maybe it's just going to be like a bio link website where you just have your profile picture, description, and then links to different places. Is it going to be a store? Is it going to be a blog? Is it going to be a restaurant? There's just so many different ways. So that's something you've got to figure out, because it really sort of changes what platform you choose. And yeah, I'm hoping that these platforms that I'm sharing here cover all those bases. Basically cover every type of website you can think of. So the first one is BioLink, and BioLink is completely free, and it's basically what you see a lot of sort of Instagrammers and TikTokers and other sort of profiles, even businesses use it as well, where they have a sort of landing page where they link to other places. So you can claim your own BioLink, add all of your own links, use it anywhere. And yeah, it's completely free. You can see some sort of famous profiles here. There's even AC Milan, the football team, that use it, which is pretty cool actually. So I have my own BioLink profile if I log in. So here we are. Here's my own BioLink profile. Just a quick one that I've whipped up. I have description, avatar, links to my social profiles, and then I also have a link to, like I just had another link to my YouTube. Let's add another link. So I could do something like, actually I'll just put olio.com and then I'll put, I can't even type, olio.com, there we go. And then I can have a link to my own personal website. I can move that up. I can then click it to open it. And there we are. There's my personal website, my own sort of BioLink website. This is really, really basic. And I think this actually makes a lot of sense for people who don't want to make a dedicated website, but they just want something that's really simple where they can link to other places, maybe their other social profiles or whatever else, because there's a lot of possibility here with BioLink. You can also change the design. They have some presets here. So obviously I've gone for the carbon one, the all black one, but you go for a basic look and it will automatically change it all for you. So yeah, let's just go for the basic one. Oh, actually, yeah, let's go for the Pride one. I think the Pride one looks pretty cool actually. Yeah, open up. And there we have a Pride themed website. You can even take it a step further and add embeds. So you can embed a YouTube video, Spotify, podcast, playlist, whatever. You can even embed a form. So if you want people to get in touch with you, you can set up a form right here. And there we are. Now if I go to my website, I refresh it, contact me, and yeah, someone can just easily contact me. So yeah, I feel like this is a really good way to have your own sort of mini website that's completely free. Next up we have Squarespace, and I'm sure everyone has heard of Squarespace. They always have ads on all different channels. I've never actually been sponsored by Squarespace, so yeah, this isn't a sponsorship or anything. I actually do genuinely believe that they're quite a good product, and they're usually actually the service that I recommend to people who don't want to spend thousands on a custom website, but they want a website that looks custom and is easy to maintain, easy to get going. So I've already gone through the setup, made an account, just made a quick website with one of their templates, and here we are. We can start editing it and we can see the website. Looks like I've chosen a photography theme because I like my photography, and then at the bottom it's not got my name in it because I need to change it. But yeah, straight away I have a website here where I can have a portfolio, share my photography work. And there's so many other templates they have. I think that's what makes Squarespace really great. There's a template for pretty much everything. You could be a photographer, you could be a designer, you could be a developer, restaurant, e-commerce, maybe you're selling products or whatever. Yeah, Squarespace, there's so many possibilities, and it's really affordable as well, costing $16 a month for their cheapest plan. And their cheapest plan will actually cover most people's needs. You can upgrade to one of the more premium plans if you require more sort of business use. So yeah, Squarespace is awesome. Like I said, I usually recommend it to people who are looking for a custom website. They don't want to spend thousands on a custom website. They want something that looks good though. Squarespace is by far the easiest one to go with. Next up is Framer. So now we're getting a bit more complex, because this is where I feel like you're getting a bit more advanced. You can do more advanced things, and Framer is actually one of the new sort of platforms on the block, you could say, new kid on the block. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. I really like it. It's really easy to use, and the idea is it's like a website builder. So you start with a blank canvas, and then you can sort of add elements and change things and whatever else. And they also have some ready to go templates as well. So if we look at a website actually built in Framer, we can see here this website, Godlike it's called. This is completely built in Framer, and it just looks awesome. It looks super professional, and yeah, it's just like a website that's actually also built for Framer. And yeah, the animations are really nice and smooth, pricing plans and stuff. It just looks like a very professional website, and this is the sort of thing you can do in Framer. So I've made an account in Framer. I have a project here which I've just quickly made up very quickly, and yeah, it's actually free to use when you make an account. The only time you actually have to pay is when you want to add a custom domain or make your website live. So free to use for as long as you like, until you want to actually go live with your website. We can see this is much more sort of design centric. So you can add layers, assets, pages and things like that. We can go into the homepage here. We can insert things. So maybe I want to insert something like this. I drag and drop it in, and it starts appearing straight away. And then I just go in and start editing it. So if I hit update, we go to have a look at the website, refresh, and yeah, here we are. Here's the feature that I've just quickly added. And yeah, Framer, I feel like, is a good starting point for those who have some experience in design apps and want quite a bit more control in how they want their website to look and sort of feel. Yeah, Framer is definitely one of the platforms to try out. And like I said, it's free to sort of mess around with as long as you like, and then you can publish the website whenever you're ready. The only downside of Framer is, like I said, there is a learning curve to it. You have to learn all this. It's not like you can make a website in a few minutes. If you don't already have some design experience, this may be quite daunting to some people, which I completely understand. I don't think this is necessarily for beginners, but I think, like I said, if you have some experience in design apps and stuff, you'll enjoy it, because you don't have to mess around with any code. It's really easy just to get going and make a website that you like. The other sort of downside I see of Framer is that you can't export any of the code. So anything that you design here stays in Framer. You can't take it anywhere else, which is, I think, quite a shame actually, because it would be nice to be able to export the code and for me to host it maybe on my own server. Like, I'd love to be able to do something like that. Just because, you know, like I said, it's all about control, right? You want to be able to have more control over your own stuff, over anything else that you make. And I'd love to be able to host it on my own server where I can just host it myself. I just want that more control, basically. And then next up we have Webflow, which I feel like is even tougher than Framer, but Webflow has really blown up over the last few years. It seems to be the platform that everyone sort of bangs on about and wants to make a website on. It's good. I think it's a good platform. I feel like, again, it's one of those platforms that's not perfect. There's a few things that I dislike and a few things that I think are wrong with it, but you can do a lot with Webflow, and there are a lot of companies that are using it. And Webflow is clearly designed to be targeted at businesses. It's not, I don't think it's really targeted at sort of like people who are looking for a personal website. I think it's definitely more targeted at businesses, mainly because that seems to be who they're targeting anyway, when it comes to the features and the functionality it has. But there is so much you can do with Webflow. There's just so much. So if we go through the website, yeah, it's clearly designed for people who don't want to touch any code. They don't want to mess around with code. But it's funny because I feel like me knowing code has actually helped me learn Webflow better and quicker and understand how a website should be built. So even though it says no coding is necessary, I think knowing some code actually really helps. If we have a look at some websites that are built in Webflow, I feel like it will give you a good idea of sort of what's possible, because the possibilities are pretty much endless with Webflow. You can pretty much build anything you like. So here's a website called Aura, and yeah, it just looks really nice, very professional. It looks like it's a website for a service, yeah, some sort of like safety service. I don't even know. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I'm just looking at the design, seeing what it looks like. Yeah, it looks very professional. We have another one here for what looks like a marketing agency, creative marketing agency, and look at all these animations and stuff. It's pretty cool, and this is all done in Webflow. Looks really nice. Keep scrolling. Yeah, this is a really nice website. Very unique website. Something that you don't really see often. Next up we have, it looks like a design agency, digital agency, something like that. Yeah, this is really nice actually. I love the videos and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. So here's a website that I've actually built in Webflow for my friend Ali Abdal. I'm sure many of you guys will already be aware of him. But yeah, we're sort of messing around with the Creatorpreneur website. Trying to come up with something that looks cool. It's still a work in progress. It's far from finished. But yeah, there's a lot of content on here because his website's very text heavy. He wants to obviously have a very text heavy website. But this is all built in Webflow. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I am on my MacBook, so it doesn't fit in the screen properly. I usually would design this website on my Pro Display XDR, the big screen over there that you see, so I have a lot more sort of canvas to play with. Webflow is pretty good. I think if you're looking to whip up a website quite, actually no, it depends, because it depends what type of person you are, if you're a designer or a developer. I think as a designer, this is quicker for me to whip up a website from scratch, something like this, like a marketing website, a landing page or something like that. I think this is perfect for that. I also think if you're designing in Figma, going to Webflow just seems like a natural progression. You know, if you don't want to learn code, you just don't want to mess around with code, you want to be a designer and you want to just design, you don't want to mess around with that sort of stuff, yeah, Webflow makes a lot of sense. One other thing I like about Webflow is that you can export the code and upload it to your own server. Now, I wish it was easier though, because you have to do it manually every time. I wish there was a way where you can just sort of connect your server to Webflow and just do it like that. So yeah, Webflow, please introduce a feature like that, because I would use it much more often if you did. Next up we have WordPress, and I'm actually hesitant to recommend this, but I wanted to mention it anyway, mainly because my personal website is built on WordPress. So I feel like it'd be silly for me to not sort of mention it. WordPress actually started as a blogging platform years ago. I don't even know how long ago now, but I remember WordPress was specifically made for blogging. Now it's sort of evolved into this thing that can do everything from creating a portfolio to selling products. I like to see WordPress as sort of Squarespace, but on steroids. That's the best way I can explain it really, because there's so much more you can do with WordPress, and you can really go in and make a website pretty much do anything if you can figure out how to do it. It's also the toughest out of the bunch. It usually requires sort of downloading it, uploading it to your own server, installing it on your server and stuff. But there are actually services like Kinsta that are out there. Highly recommend Kinsta if you haven't heard of it already, where it makes this all super easy. You just make an account, you install it, and you don't have to worry about anything. It's all done automatically for you, and they give you the login and everything else. Really easy. I feel like I wish something like that existed when I started messing around with WordPress 10 years ago. With WordPress though, there is a lot more work that goes into actually getting the website up and running, because once you've set it up, you most likely need to find a theme that you like. You have to customize it, install plugins, and just all sorts of other stuff. It's definitely a lot of work, and I probably wouldn't recommend it to beginners. If you're just someone who's looking for a basic website, I wouldn't recommend it. But like I said, the reason I brought it up is because my personal website, olio.com, is based on WordPress, and I first made this website back in 2012. And back then in 2012, there just weren't that many options. So I went with WordPress, and I've stuck with it since. And yeah, I haven't switched platforms or anything like that, mainly because it's a lot of hassle and it's a pain in the butt, basically. I have my blog posts and stuff on there, and it works. I'm going to continue using it, and I like WordPress. Other people hate it. I like it. It works for me, and because I just have such extensive knowledge of WordPress, it's why I've sort of stuck with it and kept using it. Now, those are just some of the ways to make a website. I think the more interesting thing is how you can make money from a website. I feel as though making money from a website is easier than ever, especially because more and more people have access to the internet, more than ever. So there's just so many different avenues to make money. I think by far one of the easiest ways to make money from websites is to build websites for other people. So you could use any of the platforms that I've already listed and make a website for a business, for someone who just needs a website and doesn't have the knowledge. Most business people don't have time to learn to make a website or anything like that. They don't want to mess around with anything like that. They're busy running their business and making money. So you can easily go in, make a website for them, handle purchasing the domain, hooking that all up, handle the maintenance, and handle any updates. You can even go a step further and be an expert in a certain platform. So Webflow and WordPress, I feel like, are two platforms where people actually specifically look for Webflow experts or a WordPress expert, mainly because their website is maybe already built on something like that. they're looking for someone to come in, make it better, make any updates and stuff like that. Yeah, it's such a good way to make money. Making websites for businesses, making websites for other people, it's just such an easy and good way to make money. It's one of the ways that I got started. And yeah, you can charge a lot of money. I know people who charge 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand for just like one landing page, which is just insane. Again, these aren't for normal people though. These are for businesses. Businesses where spending 20 grand on a homepage could maybe make them hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So yeah, that's by far, I think, one of the easiest ways to make money from websites. The only issue is there's a lot of competition. So you've got to be good at what you do, I feel like, to make money from that. And it can be quite difficult to get going. But I think if you can make the effort of contacting businesses and doing a lot of the work for them and just showing them, hey, here I've built a website for you already. It's ready to go. You just have to pay me for it. Like it's just as easy as that. I feel like a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'll build a website for you. And the client is just like, I don't know who you are. But if you've already built the website for them and you show them, you're more likely, I feel like, to get your foot in the door, basically. Blogging and advertising. So I think this is a difficult one and is a much slower way to make money. But it's actually one of the ways that I started making money. It was the first way that I started making money, to be honest. It was having my own blog and having advertising and sponsorships and stuff on there. Websites like The Verge or Wired make money from doing essentially what is blogging. They're news websites that are built on blogging platforms pretty much. And they post about latest tech news and anything else they feel like is relevant to their audience. And one of the ways they make money is through advertising. So you'll see ad banners around the website. That's just one of the ways though. Like there's so many other ways, like sponsorships, affiliate links, merchandise, tickets to events, magazines, products, so many different ways. And that I feel like also leads quite well into e-commerce. So selling products online is of course one of the ways I feel like most people know about. These days we're shopping online more than ever. And we need to go to these websites to buy these products. So e-commerce is a really good way. So I have my own e-commerce store, ULX store, built here in Shopify. I didn't mention Shopify earlier, mainly because I feel like Shopify is just built for making your own store. It's not really built for making like your own personal website or portfolio. But yeah, Shopify is great. I feel like it's the perfect platform for those who want to build an e-commerce business. And yeah, ULX store, we have products here that we've designed. We get them built in China and then we store them in this place, this warehouse that you can't see. I have a studio in the warehouse, but out there is an actual warehouse where all of our products are. And yeah, we ship them out to customers all over the world. And these are products that we've designed, we get them made and we buy them in bulk and then we bring them over here. And yeah, in our sort of best year of this store, I made $1 million, which to me is just insane. I can't even believe I made that much money. Pretty insane. Of course, not all of it is profit, but yeah, it's a great way to make money. But I also think, again, it's quite a tough way because you need a lot of money to get started. You need capital to get started. I used money that I had earned before and from my other businesses to build this business. And yeah, it's not as easy. I think the easiest way, like I said, is to make websites for other people. So that is pretty much it. Hopefully this video isn't too long. Hopefully I've condensed it down because I think I'm at like 40 minutes recording or something like that, or 15 minutes recording. But yeah, hopefully you guys found some value in this video. If there is anyone out there who knows of some other website builders, other soft platforms, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always willing to check out other platforms and try other platforms, see what else is available. Yeah, I really think these days everyone should have their own website. It's just so cheap to do, and it's free sometimes, like that bio link one that I mentioned earlier, that's free to have. I think you'd just be silly not to have your own website these days. It's just so cheap. What? It's like a few cups of coffee every month, or maybe it's like a fast food meal or something like that. It's just so affordable. Like I said before as well, me having my own personal website has brought in so many opportunities and helped me build so many businesses and had so many people get in touch with me and make friends. And yeah, I feel like it's also helped me have a good social life having my own website, because I have other people who do similar things to me get in touch with me and be like, hey, let's meet up. Let's discuss, let's share knowledge. So yeah, I think you'd be silly not to have your own website. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, also subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.